like to wear this hat when I'm DMing games, but a dungeon master wears many hats, and one of the most important hats a DM wears is that of teacher. If you can't help new players understand the rules or their roles, it might be harder to get them back to the table. And today I want to help you get those players back at your table by sharing my 8 top teaching tools that I use at my table. Before I share my 8 teaching tools with you, if you like content about how to be a better DM, world building tips, and resource reviews with an old school slant, then consider subscribing to the channel. Now listen, if you're a DM but do not consider yourself a good teacher, then the more simple teaching tools you have, the easier it will be for your new players to learn the game. So let me go ahead and share with you my 8 teaching tools that will get players back to your table. Let me start by saying if you're using a rules light game, you may not need all the things I'm about to share. But if the game you are teaching is crunchy or has a few moving parts, then teaching tools are invaluable to helping your players learn the system, the rules, and the gameplay. And the reason teaching tools are so important is because of a theory called cognitive load theory. Coined in 1988 by John Sweller, CLT suggests that our working memory is only able to hold a small amount of information at any one time, and that instructional methods should avoid overloading it in order to maximize learning, and that's from the Society for Education and Training. When it comes to teaching tools in RPG, the aim is to unburden the player's cognitive load, the need to know everything to play the game, and prevent overburdening their limited working memory, especially when it comes to abstract concepts like saving throws, action economy, etc. So let me go and start with the first of my 8 teaching tools I like to have at the table. And there is no better teaching tool than the pre-generated character sheet. This character sheet is the best example of a teaching tool of all the new games I played at a recent con I went to called North Texas RPG Con. In fact, it has a couple of things I have listed below, including the cheat sheet on the back and the character profile art on the front. This helps me, number 1, get into character, and number 2, know the mechanics of gameplay so my character could act without looking to the DM as to how to do a thing. And I should say this character sheet is from Tales of Argosa. It is a really fun game, well DM'd, and this pre-generated sheet got me into the game faster. Another good example of a teaching aid character sheet is this one from Shadowdark. Here's the back of the character sheet, and as you can see, it has everything your character can do, from actions to damage to morale to spellcasting. This quick reference sheet will surely get your players thinking ahead rather than you having to remind them what their character can do. The second teaching aid that I have at my table is a cheat sheet. There are 2 kinds of cheat sheets, and both are valuable. The first is how to make a character cheat sheet. If you're going to have players roll up characters, a set of simple instructions will help guide the way. Roll this many dice, this many times, plug number into an ability. Choose your armor, choose your weapon, and so forth. The second kind of cheat sheet is the mechanics sheet. Here's what you can do on your turn. This is how combat works when your character is dying. If you can put this kind of information on the back of your character sheets, all the better. But even if you just printed off some index card sized cheat sheets, that would certainly be helpful to a new player. The third teaching tool I like to have at my table is the name card. And I know what you're thinking, how is this a teaching tool, Paul? Well, let me explain. I consider this a teaching tool because before the game, I want people around the table to know who everyone is. That builds community. And when I say turn your cards around, I'm teaching them and it's time to become someone else, to role play. It's subtle, but it works at my tables. Give it a try and let me know if it helps you, hurts, or it's neutral. The fourth teaching tool I like to have at my table are spell ability cards. I've been in games, as you probably have as well, where players knew what spells they had but had no idea what they did, and neither did the DM, which resulted in much Googling or page turning. You could handle this in multiple ways. Number 1, if your character sheet has room, put a brief description of what the spell does. Number 2, get some spell cards printed up or write them out on index cards and give them to players at the beginning of the game. Number 3, buy some cards like the ones Wizards of the Coast put out for D&D 5th edition 2014. Number 4, you could just say, what do you think this spell does? And run with it so you don't waste time looking stuff up. I'll also say that if you're looking for a complete set of spell cards on Drive-Thru RPG for 5e, I'll put a link down in the description, as well as for Pathfinder 2e or Shadowdark. The fifth teaching tool I like to have at my table, target number cards. These target number cards are just visual reminders of what a new player is shooting for, hoping for, when they roll those dice. I think these target number cards are from Runehammer's ICRPG 2nd edition, I believe, but don't hold me to it. You could also write the number on an index card and hang it from your DM screen. The sixth teaching tool I like to have at my table, character profile art. This piece of art could help players come up with a name or personality for their character. The Tales of Argosa character sheet already had artwork on the sheet, but if you can't do that, you can always grab card-sized profiles and throw them on the table to see what players think their character might look like. Here's a couple of resources you can pick up over on DriveThru. I'll put a link down below. The seventh teaching tool I like to have at my table, equipment pack cards. I use these cards to teach players that you don't have to look at your character sheet to always see what you have. In fact, most players, in my experience, forget they even are wearing a pack. I've had players look at these cards and discover something that got them out of a mess. Giving a player an equipment pack further teaches them that they are playing a character who is going on an adventure, and this is what the character might have with them. Of course, you can always add more unless you're playing Shadowdark, and then you're only allowed, in most cases, 10 items. I'll put a link down to some simple equipment pack cards over on DriveThru down below, or if you like these cards, you can get them over on Etsy, link down below as well. The eighth teaching tool I like to have at my table, tracking cards. I don't require players to track their arrows, etc., but I give players these cards to see what they will track, what's important to them. I tell them they can track their HP, their ammo, their spells, and I just let them choose whatever they want to use it for. I made a video about these cards. You can check out the link down below, or if you want to get the cards for yourself, I also have a link in the description for those as well. So those are my 8 teaching aids I like to use at my table, but I'm always trying new things and I encourage DMs to do the same. Use whatever works at your table. But I'd love to hear from you. Have you used any of these type of teaching aids, or which of these aids have you never used, but you think you might give it a shot? Leave me a comment down below. All the links to all the resources will be down in the description below. And if you'd like more DM tips, I have a whole playlist right over here. And if you'd like to see the video about the tracking cards, well, you can see that one right here. And if you like this video, hit the thumbs up button. That tells me you like the video and you want more of them. But that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.